Welcome to Fancy Light Canvas. I'm Tara Pierce. As you see below is the bit.ly to this presentation, or you can scan the QR code. A little bit about me. I'm an instructional technology facilitator. I have been for the last 7 years for Richmond County Schools. I was a classroom teacher for 13 years prior. I'm married to my wonderful husband, Mart, and we have 4 children. This is Bonnie and Dash, and they are my long-haired Dachshunds, and then that's my cat, Nugget. So let's talk about Canvas. What's your favorite fancy tool that Canvas offers? My favorite is the PDF editor. It is where students can actually annotate on top of a PDF. And that is one of the fancy tools that I'm going to be showing today. I'm also going to show you the Office 365 cloud assignment, as well as the Google LTI cloud assignment. So let's get started. All of the tools. So I created a public course index course for you all that's Fancy Light Canvas with all of the tools that I'm going to use. Also, all the files, I created PDF files for you all to use to see step-by-step directions. The very first one that I'm going to show is the Office 365 Cloud Assignment. So there's a how-to video for Word and PowerPoint, but you can also use Excel. And I'll go back and add that one because I'm going to have to create the video. There was not a video that was really good and clear. So I'm going to create that. Once I add it to this, you'll have access to it as well. The directions are created by me. I actually went in and copied and cut and pasted and created this. I felt like it was just a little bit easier than the directions that were offered in the instructor guides on Canvas. So one of the things I can tell you about an Office 365 cloud assignment is that it has to be an online live document. When I say that, I'm going to actually come over to my mail and I'm going to go into my Outlook or my Office Waffle. The files have to be in your OneDrive. I can create them in the full app version of Word or Excel or PowerPoint, but once they're saved, I have to save them in my OneDrive for them to become those live documents for students. So that was a confusion. Like I had some teachers that tried to use this and they had saved it on their USB drive. Some had saved it in their Google Drive. It has to be saved in your OneDrive to upload this. So I'm going to go over to my Canvas course that I created, and this is the Fancy Light Canvas course. Again, I have the presentation linked here. I have all of the tools I'm going to use today linked. I also have my favorite PDF editor here as well. And so I created a module down below and I published the module because I want the examples that I show you today, I want you to be able to see them in student view. So of course, anything that I add to a module, the module has to be published to be able to see it in student view. So right here, and I like to add everything in a module because it keeps it organized. If you are a classroom teacher, you definitely want to put everything in a module. The teachers in my district use unit modules. They also use weekly modules because they know that if I'm a semester teacher and I have so many weeks, 18 weeks in a semester, then I know that I'm going to have those same 18 weeks next semester if I'm teaching the same subject. So it just makes it easy to organize it that way by week and how I'm going to keep with my pacing. Completely up to you as an instructor. That's just an example that we use in our district. So the very first assignment I'm going to create is, I'm going to say Office 365 example. I'm going to click on that title. I'm going to go to edit. Right here is where I would add the student instructions. So this is where I would tell students what to do. What do I want them to do? What's their expectations? This is where I would type all that information in for my students. We are on a 100-point scale in my district. We grade on the 100-point scale. It makes it easy for parents to understand. A lot of times parents do not understand the 10 points, 20 points, 25-point grading scale. So we ask teachers to grade on the 100-point scale. The assignment group, that is your power teacher categories. If you have linked your course for grade passback, you have to import your Power School categories. I do not have a grade book because I'm not a classroom teacher, so I do not have Power School categories linked here. It just says assignments. But if you have uploaded those into Canvas or pulled them in, you can select which category do you want this assignment to link to in your Power Teacher gradebook. We also always display grades as points. Your district may use percentages. I also found that when the grade passback happens, it passes back better as points. It's less confusing, just what I have found. So for the Office 365 cloud assignment, your submission type is an external tool. Under the external tool, you will click on Find, and I'm going to scroll down until I see the Office 365 Cloud Assignment option. My district has both. We have Google and we have Office 365. And you may have the question of link here, so meaning that it wants you to link your OneDrive. If you've never done that before, it will ask you to link here. If I know the name of the assignment, because I've already created that assignment, if I know the name of the assignment, all I have to do is search, and I know the name of my assignment. So there's my cookie cutter sharp document. And this is actually a reading and some questions that students will have to answer back, some open-ended questions. Whenever you select the cloud assignment and then you pick the file, you come back to this configure tool to select again. Now I see there's my document in there. Load this tool in a new tab. Completely up to you. I like the way it looks right inside of Canvas. I normally do not say open this in a new tab. I prefer it right there in screen. Makes it easy. Doesn't open anything else for students. I also limit my assignments to 2 submission attempts. And I'm going to say this, if you limit it to 1 and students are having to upload a file to you. I actually had this happen several times that the teacher said 1 attempt. However, this couple of the students accidentally clicked on the wrong file. They had like a rough draft copy, and then they had the original copy, or the copy they wanted, finalized copy that they wanted to submit. They clicked the wrong one. The teacher had to go back in and open up the assignment so the kids could submit. Accidents do happen, so completely up to you. If it was a quiz, I'd say 1 attempt, that's all, but this is where students are working. They have the 2 attempts if they need it. If I was syncing to PowerSchool, I would need this turned on. I'm not syncing to PowerSchool, so I'm going to turn that off. If you are a teacher that teaches multiple sections, if I taught Math 2, let's say that, and I taught Math 2 first block, third block, and fourth block, the way our district has it set up, all 3 of those sections would be under 1 course card. I wouldn't have to go and create this assignment in 3 different course cards. So my everyone would be all 3 of those blocks. I do have the rights that I could take that off. I could X out everyone, and I could say, this is the first block session, the due date, the available from, so 8 o'clock, and I could close it at the end of the first block. Then I would hit add. I would find the third block section, give them their due date, their available, and their until, and add again. So you can have multiple assigns at the bottom. But I'm going to say everyone, I'm going to go ahead and give it a due date and give it a few days, few time out, because of the fact that this is just an example. And I'm going to say save and publish. I don't have to go to student view because this is actually what it looks like for the student. So whenever a student comes in here and they're ready to do some work, all they have to do is click edit document. And they can open it in the desktop app and get the full functionality of it and submit, or they can click edit and make their changes right there in screen. As you see, here it is. So they can go in here and they can start typing. They can also click on links. They have to know to hit the control and click. That's a teachable moment. So if your students do not know how to open a link from a Word document, you would have to show them how they hover over it, hold control, and click. Let it be a teachable moment, because that's things they're going to need to know as they get older. So they would come in, they can answer or start with say teeth. I haven't read the article. Let's say they can come in, they can link out their text, they can do different things like that. They can also, let's say to get started, I want everything to be red. They can also change their answers to red font. So this is what it looks like for the students, and they're just typing in screen. And you're going to get everything they've done once they hit submit. Now, because I'm still in my view, I'm in teacher view, the student view for this does not work. You're seeing it just like the students see it. There's those instructions. This is where the directions would be for my students. When they hit editing, they actually get a submit button. But I'm not in student view, so I don't get that submit button, but the students would. You would go to speed grader just like every other assignment, grade the assignment, and then the students would see the grade in their grade book. So this is your Office 365 example. I also have those directions here and the videos as well. Same thing. It works exactly the same way. The students can go from each slide within a PowerPoint. They can also type within an Excel document. Keep in mind, all 3 of those have to be in your OneDrive to link. One more thing. Let's say that I forgot something on this document. I forgot a question that I wanted to ask. I would need to go back to my OneDrive, find this document, edit it, and then I need to come back over to Canvas and re-upload this document for it to be the exact document that I uploaded originally. That is one thing that I've had teachers ask me, well, why am I not seeing it? Or why do students not see it, but I see it? Because they didn't go to edit assignment settings, and they didn't go and pull that document back in under the external tool. Now would be time for questions, but playtime, I would allow everyone in my class to actually go in and create one of these, create the document in their Word Online, save it to their OneDrive, and upload it. But of course, this is a recorded session, so I'm going to move on. So the next one we're going to take a look at is the Google Assignment LTI. So here are the directions I created. There's also a video there. So these are the directions that I created. That were like 20 pages long. Really, they were very long. I'm being a little facetious, but it really, I didn't like any of the instructions I found online, so I created these. I mean, it's 2 pages. Very simple. So I'm going to go back over to my Canvas Fancy course, and I'm going to go back to my module, and I'm going to add a new assignment, and I'm going to call this Google LTI example. I'm going to click on that title and edit. Again, student instructions. Here's where you give the point value. This is your PowerSchool categories. I leave mine as assignments. I leave mine as points. Your submission type, it is an external tool, just like that Office 365. Google is the same way. I'm going to find, and this time I'm going to look for the Google LTI 1.3 assignment. It always asks, well, who is doing this? Keep in mind your students need Google accounts for this. So check the plagiarism. We do not have the full paid version of Google for our district because we are an Office 365 and we have Windows devices. If you have the full paid version for your district, you probably have Chromebooks and you only use Chromebooks in your district. All of our students have Windows devices or iPads for K1. So we do not have Chromebooks at all. We actually left Chromebooks a few years ago because we wanted students to have the full experience of when they go to college, that they can use MacBooks, and of course they can use Windows devices and they can use Chromebooks, but we wanted them to know how to use all of the Office tools when they do go to college. So we went back to Windows devices and we have less issues with those. So I only have 5, but you can turn this on and have it to check plagiarism. So now I'm going to go on to files. If you have already went to your Google Drive as the teacher and created the assignment, it is simply click attach and attach that assignment there. Or if you want to hit create, you can create a new document, a new sheet, or a new slide right here, and it will attach. I created mine, so I'm going to click attach. My recents are going to pull up. I actually know that Red Panda is my recent assignment that I put in there. This is the assignment that I had created. This is where you would give points. Yours may populate as 0, but because I've made several of these in teaching the teachers in my district, mine automatically goes to 100 because Google has figured out, hey, everything she grades is on 100 points. which is nice. Right here, I'm going to give it that due date. Click on my calendar. You can also, if you use rubrics for grading, you can also create a rubric. Just like with that Office 365 cloud assignment or any external tool assignment, it always pops back to the configure tool for you to hit select. I see there's my Google assignment there. I do not like it to load in a new tab. I like it to load in the tab I'm in. I'm going to limit that to 2 attempts. I'm turning off PowerSchool for me just because of the fact I do not sync. I'm going to give it that same due date. And if you do sync to PowerSchool, you have to have a due date or it will not sync. And I'm going to save and publish. Now, the one thing I can say, you cannot go to student view with the Google LTI. You cannot go to student view. That's the one thing I can tell you. But I can see that is linked. There's the file right there that's linked. It will tell me when the student, I'll get the notification when the student has submitted it, but it looks exactly like that Office 365 assignment. I'm actually going to go to my Google Drive and I'll show you what the assignment looks like. Here's my link. They're going to read this from Wonderopolis, and then they're going to come in here and they're going to answer these questions. I will tell you that if you make edits in your Google Drive to this document, the kids will see it in Canvas. So I do not have to come back and change this. So if, whoops, I forgot something, it's okay. I can go back to my Google Drive and I can edit it and it will appear here. Graded in SpeedGrader, just like I would the Office 365 assignment. So I think this is a great tool. I like the Google tools. I really like the way the assignment looks for students as well. I saved my favorite for last, and I will add a video here. Haven't yet. I have 2 more that I need to watch because I like to watch my videos and make sure that they are very clear. If someone else has shared them, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. I completely understand because the other ones I did not create, but I have 2 more to watch and I'll update those here if I find one that I really like and that is clear. If not, I'll make one and I'll add a how-to video here. But I did make these directions. So these are my directions and they explain exactly how to add that PDF assignment. It even talks about the tools that you can have the students use across the top, and I'm going to talk about that too. So let's get started. So back in my course, I'm going to my module and I'm going to add an assignment. And notice, I love that Canvas remembers what I'm doing. And so this is my PDF example. I'm going to click on that title. I'm going to edit it. Of course, this is where I would give student instructions. I know that this one is a reading comprehension. Points. Giving that points. There's that category. Leave it as points for me. This time, the submission type changes. So that's why I save this one to last. But for me, in my opinion, I save the best for last. So submission type is online. And when I select online, it is student annotation. Student annotation. And I want to upload a file. You can upload it in your files and have all your assignments there. But I'm going to upload a file, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to find the story that I have ready to go. I'm going to limit those attempts. This one now I can do as a group assignment or peer review. So I can add those two features with the PDF assignment. Notice they weren't there for the Office 365 or the Google. I'm going to turn off the Sync to PowerSchool. I'm going to give it a due date. I'll go with that same due date I've been using. And this time I'm going to say save and publish. All right. Now I want to see it in the student view. This one I actually click on student view for. All right. And so my PDF is loading, and this one is a kind of big PDF. So I'm going to give it just a second and let it load. So I have the reading. Then I have my questions down below. So let's say that the student needed to come in and they need to circle the right answer. So I haven't read the story, but the student can come in and they can grab their pen and they can circle the right answer. They can also change colors if needed. When I scroll down, now they have open-ended questions. They would click on the text, click in the box, and they would answer the question. This is a teachable moment. I would pull up the PDF on your board, which meaning you may have a Promethean or a Smart Panel. You may just have a projector and screen, but I would pull this up so that the students could see it, and I would talk to them about how to use these tools. And when they're typing in an answer, that if they need it, it does not automatically flow to this next line for them. It keeps going. So if they wanted to type one sentence on each line to answer, they can. So of course I would just click here, and wherever they click, and they can delete out, wherever they click is where the typing is going to be. But you would need to show the students how to do this. If they needed to come up, if I wanted them to highlight the answer here, they can also highlight. If I wanted to come up and find and prove the answer, if I wanted to find the proof of where I found that answer, I might come up and have the students to highlight. I know we sent the right answer. And then I might want them to add some text and say, answer to question 4. Okay, so this is where I found the answer to question 4. So they have to highlight it and they have to tell me this is where they found that answer. You can have them to just number the question or just put number 4. Once the student hits submit, of course, they get the beautiful congratulations. I'm going to leave the student view so you guys can see in SpeedGrader what it looks like for me as the teacher to grade this. Scroll down. I can see the highlighted part. I can see where they've said this is the answer to their question number 4. I can scroll down. I can see this is how they have highlighted answers. I can see where they've circled the answer. I can also see the text that they've typed, and then I can come over here and give them a grade. This does not grade itself. I have to grade it. However, I like open-ended responses. I like the way that looks. All right. Now, one of the things I can tell you that I've had teachers say to me is, you know what? You borrow that from K5 Learning, they let you borrow it. It's a free download. But the problem with free downloads of PDFs, even in math, is that I get the answer key attached. Well, my favorite, and I'm going back here, my favorite PDF editor website is pdftogo.com. So I have PDF to go open. Notice I'm not logged in, and there's only one, and it tells you that it's a premium version. And if you want to make your PDF searchable online, I think you get about 50 of these for free, and then they're going to ask you to create an account and pay. And the account, I actually have a paid account, but I didn't want to use my paid account. It was like $10 a year. It's nothing. It's very cheap, but those two are the only ones that you really have to have the premium for. But I need to split a PDF. So I actually opened up where I downloaded the K5 Learning. I opened that up because these are free downloads. And I'm going to go over here to the leveled stories again. And I am going to download this PDF. So when I see here's a great story, there's what the students will be doing, but oh, look, there's the answer key, okay? So I'm going to download this, and I'm going to save it in here. And I'm going to put loaf behind here. I think it said loaf. I'm going to save that story. I'm going to go back to my PDF to go, and I want to use the split PDF option. Because it downloaded right here in my downloads, I can click and drag, or I can choose file and find it. It's going to open up for me to get rid of that answer key. I'm going to scroll down. If I didn't want this open-ended question, I could also delete that page as well, but I just want the answer key page gone. I'm going to save as and save. I'm not going to touch my mouse. I'm going to let this roll through its process. I'm not touching my mouse still. I'm letting it roll through its process. Now it asks me where I want to save it. Now, I will tell you that anytime that I save one of these PDFs that I've taken the answer key off, on the end, I always type in NAK. That tells me no answer key. Because I have the one up there. When I look here, there's the story. That one has the answer key. This one is the no answer key. So for grading, if I need to pull the one up with the answer key, I can. So I said save. I'll go back over to Canvas, and I'm going to do my second PDF example, just because I said this was my favorite tool. So this is my PDF example 2. I click on my title, edit. I give instructions. There's my points. My submission type's online. It's a student annotation. I'm going to upload the file, making sure that I get the loaf with the no answer key. I'm not going to sync it. I'm going to give it its due date, but if I was going to sync it, you have to have due date regardless. I'm going to save and publish. I'm going to go to that student view, and I'm going to look to see, did I get rid of that answer key? Yes, I did. So now it looks like what I want my students to do and what I want them to work on. So that is also in there for you to check out. I would ask if there were any questions now, but of course, we are online, so I don't have any. You can contact me. Yes, that's me at Tara Pierce at richmond.k12.nc.us. If you have questions, please feel free to email me. I'll be more than happy to answer. Have a great one.